recognizing the value that that associate brings to the company and communicating to that associate regularly. It needs to be sincere. You can't just have robo emails going out thanking people. Like, it needs to be specific to why they are adding value to the company.
Welcome to this special episode of Sunny Silver Linings. Sunny's guest today is an expert at leading global, fast-growing, technology-focused organizations. Please welcome William Flannery, CEO, DataPrize. Now, here's your host, the visionary founder and CEO of IT by Design and MSP Talent Authority, Mr. Sunny Kala. Over to you, Sunny.
Hi, Bill. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Sunny. Great to be here.
I appreciate you coming to my show to share your experience, share your thinking, what's happening in the channel, and everything else. So I'm really excited about our conversation, and special thanks to you to join me today, even when you have a very busy schedule, you're traveling. So I truly, truly appreciate you, my friend.
No problem at all.
Okay, so we're going to start with getting to know about you. So why don't you share your kind of overall entrepreneurial and career journey?
Great. Well, thank you, Sunny. And again, I really appreciate you having me on. As far as my background goes, I've been in technology since, the turn of the century, right? From 2000 is really when I started my career in IT. I actually came out of school as a civil engineer, did some pretty good sort of civil engineering projects when I first started, and then pivoted toward tech right around 2000. And I've been in the managed services space since then. I really enjoy this space because you get to know so much about your clients' businesses. But I've been in this world for the last 24 years. Feels like a very long time when you say it out loud. And throughout, just continue to advance my career and really look forward to continuing to grow the companies that I'm with and enjoy mutual success.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. I want our channel to know, and people who are listening to this know DataPrize vision. But can you please share what your vision is for DataPrize?
So really our mission at DataPrize is to unlock the capabilities of our clients by taking off the items that are not core to them. So technology, again, permeates everything. It's in every industry. It can create differentiators in those industries. And our ability at DataPrize to take the IT load off of, again, no matter what industry you're in, technology is not their core competency. And it is ours. So we were able to take that and do it at scale so we can drive some cost efficiencies, but most importantly, a great level of quality. So that allows our clients to be great at what they do. So that's really what our mission is, to drive that level of unlocking capabilities at the client side. And I think what differentiates DataPrize and what really allows us to be successful is that we engage with our clients trying to talk their language. So really understanding if we're talking to an insurance company or healthcare company, what is important to you? How do you enable technology for you to be successful? And then we build solutions around that to allow them to be successful in whatever capability or metric that they're trying to be successful at. So that's really what our mission is. As far as where we go to market, we are in the we're SMB up through the mid-market space. We have national accounts, some accounts, very large accounts, hundreds of offices, and we're able to facilitate technology through those types of larger footprints. And then we have some smaller clients that are, single site or maybe a handful of sites, but that ability to leverage technology to unleash them to do what they do best is really what the DataPrize is all about.
Oh, that is so awesome. So what I heard you say is that the mission, the vision, it's about the customer. It's about helping them unlock their true potential by supporting them with the technology so that they can stay focused on their core business and don't worry about IT, but they leverage IT to grow their business.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the trick there, of course, is how do I make it tailor a solution for that client, but still do it in a way that allows me to create scale and do it cheaper and better and more efficient then they can do it. So that's really what we're focused on here at DataPress.
Yeah. And one of my favorite question is, what do you wish you had known when you first started?
Well, first off, I think the focusing on the client, and I think all the companies that I worked for and the mentors that I had, that was their belief that you wanted to focus on the client. So I don't think certainly wasn't a mistake. It was something that maybe I could have done more of. I could really have said, all right, what really differentiates this client? Like, what is it specific to them that I can really zero in on and maybe get a little more precise? But as far as mistakes, I think there's a natural tendency when you're client focused to do what the client wants. And there's a small differentiation there between doing what they want and doing what's right for them. So, my kids like to eat cereal. And if I let them, they would eat cereal for 3 meals a day. And that's not right for them, right? That's not good for them. When it comes to our clients, they come in with this idea of, I want to leverage technology, and maybe I want to leverage the cloud, or I want to leverage some sort of SaaS offering, or whatever the case may be. And they come in sort of prescribing the solution. And I think an uneducated managed service provider says, great, I can give you that. And I think the more mature ones, the more successful ones will go, okay, but why do you want to do that? And let me understand the business value of doing what you're, suggesting we do. And maybe the answer was, yeah, you're exactly right. That's the right solution. But where you really add value as a managed service provider is to look at that and go, well, that's probably not the right solution for you. And you're much better off going with this other solution, or that is a good solution, but you need to tweak it in certain ways and make it more efficient for you. I think I use the phrase like protecting the client from themselves, because if they're going down a path uneducated or with blinders on, they end up in a situation where they might be spending more money on a solution that, could be more efficient done in a different way. So the advice, or what I've sort of learned, is definitely ask the 5 whys, like really dig into why they think that solution will work, and then make sure that it's a good fit for them. That adds a ton of value to clients.
Yeah, asking 5 whys to really uncover why they want what they want, and then being a true advisor. And in order to earn that true advisor status, you also need to be able to say no when it's the right thing to do, right? And I think that's what earns respect. That's where you're not going to be always saying yes to things. You're going to do the right thing, even if that means you're not the most favorite partner that they have, but you are helping them uncover their blind spots. You are helping them as a true partner, true advisor. And in the long term, that is a win.
Completely agree. And ultimately, you want long-term clients. If you're a managed service provider, the cost of finding the new client versus keeping the existing, every business is that way, but certainly in our business, clients leaving is very detrimental to your business. So keeping that long-term client. So thinking about it in the long term, like, I'm going to have this client for life, and I want to figure out how I can coach them the best way possible. And part of that is looking back, right? So when you look back a year from now and you remind them, like, oh, remember that solution you wanted to do? And this is what I was talking about, where you would have run into problems if we went with that original solution. So I think that adds a tremendous amount of value, and certainly creates a level of not just shared accountability, but you really have they build a level of confidence with you that, okay, great, I see why now they push back at me, because that was the wrong solution.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit about culture and retention of top talent. How have you done it in the past, and how are you thinking about this at DataPress? So culture and retaining top talent strategies.
So I'll start with, I think a lot of companies would tell you that our number one asset is our people. And that's true. I think the number one asset for a lot of companies are their people. As a managed service provider, it could not be more true, because the technologies that you use, the tools that you use will come and go. It's the people that ultimately drive retention of your clients, right? We say a lot that, happy associates make happy clients, and happy clients buy more stuff. I mean, that is so true in this industry where you may not have the best tools, but if you have people who have this idea, this servant attitude of like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to supply an answer to that client is a client for life. So talent retention for us is any service provider, but certainly Dataprize is top of mind, that we need to make sure that we attract the best talent and ultimately retain the best talent. Now, as far as how you do that, first off, there's great conversations and great training on engagement of associates. How do you engage your associates? And really it sums up to communication. Like, how well am I communicating to all of my associates the health of the business, the vision of where we're going, how they play a part in the success of the business, and they truly feel engaged. That is the nirvana, right? If you can get to that, then all the other items that people talk about around, pay or benefits and that sort of thing, they're certainly important, and you need to pay market rates and you need to pay benefits and everything, but it becomes less of a focus when the associates really engaged and they feel like they are adding value to an enterprise as much as the enterprise is investing in them. So again, communication for me is huge. The next part, which is a subset of communication, is recognition. So when people do a great job, it doesn't have to be, big monetary awards and that sort of thing. Just recognition. And everyone's a little different. Some people really enjoy the public recognition. Some people enjoy more of a private recognition, but recognizing the value that that associate brings to the company and communicating to that associate regularly that they are a valuable asset, and here's why, is just invaluable. Now, two small caveats there. One is it needs to be sincere. You can't just have insincere robo emails going out thanking people. Like, it needs to be specific to why they are adding value to the company. And I think it needs to be done in a way that they truly feel that this is a sincere thank you or a sincere recognition of the work that they're doing. It doesn't need to be big dollars, doesn't need to be huge, super, events and everything. It just needs to be, is my manager and maybe my manager's manager recognizing the work that I do regularly. I think that's super valuable as far as culture goes. So communication and recognition for me are super important. And then when it comes to talent and ultimately retaining that talent, I think thinking associates first, especially in a managed service provider, if you think associates first, your clients will be happy. So as much as everyone would say, hey, it's client first mentality, I think it's either a tie or maybe slightly higher on associates first than clients, because one will beget the other. But especially in this industry, an IT industry, it's about advancing careers. So am I giving them the proper training? Am I allowing them to grow in their role? Do I have a defined career path? And that's work. And there are so many leaders that I've seen in this industry, managers, directors, VPs, that are so focused on the work, so focused on the client and the client satisfaction. They're not focused on their teams. And that ultimately ends up in a bad place, where you really need to think about, if I have a path and I focus on my associates, the work gets done. You don't need to worry about the work if you focus on your associates, because they're ultimately going to do the job. But good reviews, good training, good career path, doing that hard work as a leader is really what has driven success for me in the past.
That is so awesome. That's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So what I heard you say, Bill, is the culture. Culture is king. And one way people define culture is that at the end of the day, it's a feeling, focusing on communication, genuine appreciation and recognition, and then doing the trainings and reviews, and the career paths leads to top talent retention and probably attracting more top talent as well.
Right. Exactly. And if you don't mind, I'll add one more piece to that. Proactive. So if you as a leader are proactively talking to your associates, understanding their career path, understanding where they're going, putting them in, whether it's training or some sort of maybe internal mentorship or something, but proactively doing that work, you will get them promoted proactively. Once an associate comes to you and says, I want to be promoted, I deserve to be promoted, I deserve more money, I deserve a raise, you're in a bad spot, because now if you don't give them the raise or don't give them the promotion, they're going to leave. If you give them the raise, and the raise money, typically in my experience, will quell the fires for about 3 months, and then they decide, like, even with more money, I'm not happy here, and I'm going to go do something else. So if you can get your head around, how do I proactively go to people? So there is nothing better and nothing more, rewarding than going to a top performer and promoting them, and it's a surprise to them. They're like, wow, like, I thought I was another 6 months away from getting to this, and you feel that I've gotten there now. That person is not likely to attrit out of the business. They're likely to stay because they know that, all right, they promised me I'd be put in a path where I could be successful and move up, and they deliver on that promise. So I'm on to the next path, and I'm willing to stay here for that. So I think the idea of being proactive is also super important in that process.
If the promotion is due, it's well deserved. Reaching out to the person proactively will have 10x impact than doing it during the review and being reactive about it. So that's a great insight. Thank you for sharing that, Bill. Now, one thing that I want to talk to you about, like, you're a very experienced leader in the channel. And where do you see channel going? Where do you see the industry, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? I stopped asking people 10-year question, 5-year question, because the speed of change is really, with the AI stuff and everything else, is really crazy. I'm like, okay, maybe stick with 2 to 3 years. So where do you see
Right.
MSP, community MSP channel going? What do you see?
First of all, yeah, if you don't enjoy a fast changing dynamic environment, you're in the wrong business, right? Like, this business, it changes so often and so quickly that if you're not, again, geared up for that level of change, you're going to be frustrated here, and you're not likely to be successful. So starting off with where we are now, if you just think back, where we were 3 years ago, you can imagine that every cycle of technology advancement is getting faster and faster. So if you go all the way back to, data centers and co-location, to ultimately managed services, then, cloud services, public cloud services, those were pretty dynamic or pretty large impacts to the business and changes inside of the channel in the market. But they're now coming even more quickly, right, in rapid succession. The nice part, though, about a managed service provider is that even as new technologies come out that either sunset or make irrelevant certain products and services that you have, there are probably 5 new ones that you can then build services and solutions for in the go forward. So, AI, there are certainly parts of AI, and there's many flavors of AI, but there's certainly portions of it out there that will make certain jobs inside of every industry, but our industry as well, irrelevant or so much more efficient that you don't need as many people and that sort of thing. So how do you then take those resources that you've freed up and move them into, how can my clients now leverage AI within their business in a meaningful way? And I think that's a huge market for the managed service providers out there today, is that, can we answer that question of, when a client comes in and says, look, I would love your help on, manage my IT, but more importantly, how do I leverage this unbelievable new technology to unlock business value inside of my industry? Now it just becomes where I think we had maybe a few years in between, big dynamic changes. Now it's down to like every year. It feels like there's this new capability out there. So if you're not launching new products to keep up with that industry, you feel a little irrelevant. If you don't have a voice and an opinion on a technology, or have the ability to, show them how it can impact their business, I think you're going to lose clients.
Yeah. So AI is big, and I think there's so many opportunities. When you think even in that strategic coach DOS framework, there are a lot of dangers for the businesses if you don't think AI today. And there are opportunities that you won't be able to leverage if you're not thinking AI today. And of course, that will be the strength of companies where they can they can scale their business with a lot of efficiency because of automation, because of AI, because the help desk will change. The future of help desk will change with AI and automation. Future of I mean, it's going to impact everything. It's just, are you going to be on the winning side of this or not? Not on that side. That's the question. What needs to be true for you to feel happy with data price progress in 2 years? When you look at the vision that you shared in the beginning, what needs to be true in those 2 years for you to feel happy with data price progress?
Well, first of all, I think that there's certainly the continued growth of our client base would make me very happy. So, and I mean net growth. So like, I want to focus on two things. I want to focus on not losing any clients because I want to be relevant and, really perform wonderfully for those existing clients, but then also acquire net new clients and continue to grow the business organically. The market is very strong. The managed services, MSP market, managed service provider market will continue to grow. This evolution of technology and the changing of the technology that's again increasing in velocity makes us more relevant even than we were a couple of years ago. So I think the MSP market will continue to grow and will continue to, benefit from that growth as more and more companies that are insourced will look to outsource, or companies that are already outsourced will look for new capabilities that their current provider, isn't providing. So I would love to see Dataprice take advantage of that and take more than market growth. We'll see what the market does in 24, but I'm willing to bet it's going to grow 12 to 15% CAGR, and I want to be able to beat that from an organic growth perspective. Now, you only do that by providing great service and showing clients the business value of executing with Dataprice versus executing with another vendor. So that's my goal. Now, inorganic growth, as you mentioned, so our strategy there is not changed. We will continue to acquire companies. We are targeting healthy companies, so we're not looking for the fixer-upper opportunities, right? We want to hire or bring into the fold really healthy companies inside the U.S., healthy companies that help us expand our geographical reach, and then also would benefit from our scale. So those tend to be, somewhere between, 7 to 18 million of top line revenue. That's in the range, right? And again, those companies are healthy where they are, but they don't have the ability to scale beyond that, or it's very difficult to scale beyond that without outside help. So Dataprice is also, we're very proud that we've done a good few acquisitions now. We've done 4 in the last 9 months, and we pride ourselves as being the acquirer of choice. So making sure that the acquired company feels that it's a win-win for both companies and that they want to stay on. We're not looking for people who we're going to acquire and then the senior team just leaves, right? We want the senior team to be part of the bigger Dataprice story. And that's been really successful.
Yeah. So if we can build on that a little bit, can you share some, like, from the culture fit point of view, from mindsets fit point of view, and other maybe EBITDA, if there's any threshold that you use as a qualifying criteria for EBITDA? Can you share a little bit more with the people who are listening? And I know a lot of our customers, a lot of our build at the event that we do, our peer groups, a lot of people are looking for collaboration opportunities of some shape or form. So can you share a little bit more there, what good looks like for you to partner up with someone?
Yep. So when I say a healthy business, the very first place I look are the clients. So do they have long-term clients? Do clients stick with them, right? So that's the first measure. Happy clients, long-term clients, From an EBITDA perspective, we generally target or we see 15 to 20% EBITDA margins. So on a $10 million business, if you're at 20% EBITDA margins, that's $2 million of EBITDA. That's a nice, healthy business. Now, not to say that we wouldn't look at a business that's slightly lower than that. I think it's just we'd have to look at why. If they're at 10% EBITDA margins, like, well, why is that? They have really happy clients. They have, really great aspects of their business, but maybe there's something that's just driving, higher cost. And by coming to the data prize side, maybe we can help with that cost. So I would look at that, but certainly by any metric, a 15 to 20% EBITDA margins business is a very healthy business. From a cultural perspective, we also look at retention of associates. So how long has that team been together? Right? Generally, these teams are somewhere between 20 and 40 people for that size business. Depends on a little bit on the subset of products, but generally that's a range that we see. And for the acquisitions we've done, we have very long associate retention. Like, people have been with the business for 15 years, and we love that. And we want to see another 15 years, right, with Data Prize. We want to see them retire out of Data Prize. That would be great, right, if they stuck around with us for their whole career. So looking at the health of the client, looking at the health of the associates and how long they've been retained. I think you start with that. And really, the core of any managed service provider is that they provide great client service. And that's done by the people. Again, facilitated by tools and tech and everything, but it's done by the people. So if you see those two things happen, where associates stick around because they really love the culture, and clients stick around because they really love the service, that's a healthy business, even before you look at the financial metric. And then you find the financial metric and you say, okay, well, why, maybe there's some cost that's high. Their Microsoft costs are really high. Okay, great. Well, when they come into the Data Prize banner, we can help with that, right? Or they're in a market that just is very competitive and they have some, slightly tighter margins. So I think the business part works itself out once you understand the health of how they manage their client relationship and how they manage their associates.
I appreciate that, Bill. Thank you. Before we close this, I want to stay in that M&A area in terms of your greatest learning. So, Bill, what is your greatest learning when it comes to mergers and acquisitions?
So first off, it's sort of like the proactive item I mentioned earlier. Mergers and acquisitions are way easier when you pick the right companies, right? So just doing your due diligence on the front, truly finding that win-win. Like, it's not really it's not a cliche. It's a real thing. Like, if you can find the right partner or the right acquisition target where they see this as a win and you see it as a win, that is where you want to be, right? If you can find that win-win, I think that is, tremendously valuable. So you haven't even acquired the company yet, but like, okay, this one fits the mold. That is step one. Once you get that, and of course you have to convince them that you're the acquirer that they want to partner with, then it becomes really good, transparent planning. And what we have here at Data Prize is really like a list of commandments. Like, this is what we do because we've done this many times. Tied in with that, of course, is the communication aspect, but not just communicating in the beginning, like communicating regularly. And again, these aren't huge companies, so get to know the people, get on an airplane, go out and sit down with them, go to happy hour, meet the team. But you have to start with, is this as good for them as it is for us? Because if you start with that idea, I think you can get a common message so that the influencers and leaders of the acquired company, when they go behind closed doors with their team, they're saying, this is great. This is really good for us. If we do the hard work of integration, there's work in integration, there's no doubt. So doing the hard work to get through integration is going to get us to a much better place.
So having that proactive understanding of win-win, and then doing a lot of work upfront in terms of relationships and understanding and setting it up correctly for success is the key. Thank you for sharing that, Bill. I appreciate you coming to my show. Thank you so much for this collaboration and sharing your thinking and experience with the world. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for watching Sunny's Silver Linings. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.